Good evening, it's Brimster. Let's see if I can get this druid, the first character I've ever played, up to a slightly higher level. I'm still kind of enjoying the slow playthrough I'm doing. I'm still sort of trying to get the flow of endgame. Yeah. I'm still kind of trying to come to terms with how loot adjusts at the end game, and I've watched some other people play and seen how just disturbingly quick their run throughs are. And yeah, I am not that. I'm trying to remember what I was playing. I think I was doing Spirits of Fire. I'll find out, I suppose. I don't think I was here. No, I was doing Realm of Dragons, end of last session. This looks more familiar. Yeah, this is what I was doing. You can see some stuff has been completed. So, yeah, I'm still only at 100 corruption because I did push corruption up a little bit on a previous one and was definitely struggling a little. So we'll see how this all goes. Now, I do need to summon my Spriggan. And, oh, it's another waves. Wave upon wave of demented Avengers march cheerfully out of obscurity into my bear claws. So I've seen other builds that I like, but I have to admit there's a little bit of stress for me in respecking at the moment. I'm not sure. And, oh man, YouTube is... I'm not sure what I have to do. I've completely reset and re-cleared the cache on my browser. I don't know what I need to do to get the YouTube thing working correctly. I'm not getting YouTube connection stats at all for my last 4 streams now. Glyphs, exalted relics. Okay. And again, sort of that is... it's still one of the things that I have found very weird. So I've watched a few guides on in-game builds because I acknowledge I'm terrible at the theory crafting, and all of them have said, "Oh, you want this, and you want this, and you want this," but not a single one of them, not a single guide that I've looked at in the descriptions or anything have been very clear about sort of what to do if you don't have the things, like if you don't have the items that they're talking about. They're saying, oh, this might be good, but you kind of want to have sort of this weapon with these stats, and you want to have these stats and these stats, and you want to make sure you don't drop under these. And I kind of get that. But in all of the guides and absolutely everything, and all of the universities and beginner guides and everything, not a single one of them has spoken clearly about this sort of mid-game itemization. It seems to all be about, particularly for your first playthrough, it's all about like you come out of the mid-game and then you put these items on, and it's like, and if you don't have them, and it's like, well, you then don't play the build. It's like, okay, so what do you play? It's feeling a bit weird, but I'm having fun doing this, but I just don't know how I put the end game build together, because the end game build is basically, you need to have these items. I've watched like 4 or 5 of them. And it's like, you need to have these items because you need to have all of this stat and all of this stat and all of this stat and all of this stat. So make sure you've got, you know, these particular items with these stats on them. It's like, and if I don't, yeah. And it's possible if I spent a lot of time building a very specific loot filter for those precise items with tier 5, I could possibly do it, but I'm not going to do it for this character because this character's only got a few days left. So when I figure out what I'm playing next and I know what my end game, I don't know if it's going to be a Void Knight or a Paladin in the next one is going to look like, I might then turn around and say, okay, these are the stats I want to prioritize. Show me on these particular items, show me items that have these particular stats, and if they're not tier, you know, 3 of these particular stats or whatever, and if they're not tier 5, 6 or 7 or whatever, I don't care. But for now, I'm just gonna get out of here. It just feels like the channel is broken. And I don't know what Google is doing. Oh, more waves. Than I've seen in a while. I pushed a button and it didn't register for a few seconds, but other things are registering instantly. So Slam is registering instantly. Okay. So that one, I immediately go over here and I put it in here. Because if I look at... Oh, I don't have it loaded. Oh, yes I do. Look at this. I want crit strike multiplier on that. So if I get one of these with legendary potential, that is what I will put on it. So that was good. But the rest of these are not, I don't think. But I'll look at them later. Increased health, chance to shred. I don't want them to have even more health, do I? I should do more dungeons as well. Okay. There's definitely a lot more I need to learn about this game. feeling that even if I do start playing in the first cycle, and this is the problem I have, they're doing this some sort of damage, but with all the bodies on the ground and my vision, I can't see what they're doing. Like, I could see I was taking damage, but I've got no idea from what. Like, it's just noise. So the only thing I could probably do is run away and wait for them to come to me. Like, I can't fight them. And if they've got ranged attacks, I suppose I'm just dead. Fire resistance. More waves? Is it me, or you just get a lot more wave levels? Like, I had like 4 in a row. Is it just like, oh, wave levels are more fun? I don't think they're more fun. Like, wave levels are designed for people who are playing a very particular style, which is speedrunning. So it's pretty clear that the game developers think that at this stage of the game you are playing a speed meta or nothing. I mean, that's basically, unfortunately, endgame is, in every ARPG, is build for speed or else. Like, is there any other valid play side? No, not really. Like, but what if I can't play for speed too much? Like, in Diablo 3, I knew the maps well enough that I could basically, I knew where I was going. So I didn't have to be able to see where I was going. But that's because I played through all of those maps a lot at low speed. Okay. So yeah, there's a speed build I'd like to try, but do I need to build a crappy filter? Or a filter which shows me those items even if they're crappy? I don't know. And then apparently what you do to respec is you respec your gear, you respec your items, and then you go play low level for a while. Because you can't actually do high level gear. It takes a few hours to respec a character. I'm still paranoid about my loot filter, so... I was paranoid about my loot. I don't see how I'm ever going to kill the boss. Wow. Oof. With all the time I spent in the session, the admin session, rebuilding the loot filters, I may need to mess around with the loot filter in order to be, show me the items I need a lot more prolifically. But also show not just one stat, but two, and try and get the items I need for the build. This drops from Lagon. Oh, great. A rare drop from Lagon is the thing I want. And the Stolen Lance. Set staff or scepter or a random drop common. So I got the rare one from Lagon. The random drop common I don't have with legendary potential, but I could also farm it in the Stolen Lance, unique staff or scepter. But I should probably finish this first. Try and figure out if I can make that work. It's weird playing your first character and you know that you're going to stop playing it in a few days. Because the game is effectively going down for 1.0 maintenance, and then you'll come back and play something different in 1.0. Like, I won't get this character to 100. And then apparently it's going to be very different in 1.0, so all of these abilities are going to change. So I'm going to have to respec it anyway. So, yeah. Huh. I'm not sure. Although, ooh. Actually, I'm really not sure. Because I need some necrotic resistance. But I don't need that much. The void resistance would take me way over. So I could lose void resistance, but I think I've got void resistance from up here. I do, so I could lose that. But I would lose 10% endurance. But I really wish I could possibly afford to lose some of. So, the thing I'm tempted to do, and this is because of just the way I play this game, I put a glyph of chaos there and I upgrade it. I don't want endurance. I don't want crit strike avoidance. I don't want lightning resistance. I don't want elemental resistance. And I used all my forging potential anyway. Is it the correct way to play it? Probably not. What I probably should have done was taken the put that into the 5th slot, and then you put the resistance I wanted on it. But my care factor is low. Mage body armor. But like axe body spray. Open portal, do 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 do. Open portal, do 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 do. Do 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 do. One-handed axe. Wah 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 wah. That was dumb. Scepter which has the wrong thing.
It has the wrong thing. It's playing with the wrong thing. '89.
Gold, gold, hook down mine. Susanna, go ahead and cry.
Echo conquered.
Still get the feeling the boss is gonna kick my berry ass. Now I get an experience sharpening. You were going to say die human, weren't you?
Do I look human to you?
Where am I going? I'm going this way. I'm going this way. Stomp. Stomp in the name of Ben. I promised singing. I didn't promise good singing. I didn't even promise singing. That shrine is way more stunning than my singing is. I actually can't really see what's going on. There's... So with the thing in the middle, it says a Wingari Beastmaster, a Wingari Patriarch and the Dragon, and I can't actually see any of the effects. So will they come to me? I'm in trouble. Okay, I really couldn't see much there. They don't drop much, do they? I suppose the point is to complete the echo, and then they give you all of those. And all of those. Enemies deal 80% increased physical damage. 155% increased critical strike chance. Jesus. Okay. But yeah, I hope the stream is working. I really do. But one of the things I really hope for this game is that when I mean, I'm enjoying it. I've got my money's worth out of it. I have no complaints about that. But one of the things I really hope for this game is that the end game, you don't just get, oh, you're not playing a meta. Like if the community is all, you're not playing a meta, therefore you're playing the game wrong, then the game is, it's not a game, it's a formula. Now I don't mind playing metas, I enjoy playing metas, but if it's you must play a meta, then it's a formula, not a game. You are executing a series of instructions. Basically the players are the programs.
I do automation in my job.
So the minute you get you should be playing this. Now, as I said, I'm more than happy to just stick at like corruption 100. I'd like to push higher, and I'm more than happy to follow a build guide to be able to do that. But if if like the community is you must follow a guide so you can push higher than 100, then the community basically is, we want players to be effectively automation scripts. And I don't want to be an automation script. That's an interesting point. Does that actually work, I wonder? nothing there I can try it on. They do even more damage. I don't think I want enemies to do more damage. Particularly if I'm getting close to doing the boss. We'll see how it goes. Ah. So, with Glyph of Ascendance, yeah, I don't know. It's possible I could get, I don't know if you can get, oh, it's still in the forge. So with Rune of Ascendance, I don't know if I can get this because this is too rare, but I don't know if I can get something with legendary potential. Let's just put these in the 2 sort. Actually, no, I'll get the key back out. Because that can just go there. Let's do this. I'm going to get my ass handed to me. See? I couldn't even see that. I was killed by something I could not see. So the ring is so large that it's off your screen. So how am I supposed to know it's there? Because my color vision isn't good enough to know. But the reason I run with mob health bars is because I can't see the bloody mobs. That wasn't the scepter. So the scepter I'm not after comes with legendary potential. So, is it with the dragon, I just have to keep him off screen for the entire fight? At which point, how as a melee character do I fight him? Like, do I assume he's always doing the AoE? But if it's invisible, what's the coping mechanism? So I definitely can't be in melee range of the dragon boss, because if I'm in melee range of the dragon boss, I can't see that he's doing the AoE. So if I ever go into melee range, I immediately need to run away. But I'm not sure how I'm going to do enough damage. Because do I need to start doing less damage? Do I need to take all of the damage off my gear and turn it all into armor, like 100% armor? like no, or like literally have or figure out how to make no offensive stats on my gear at all. Because any damage I'm doing means that I die. I mean, that can't be right. I want to see what the debuff I've got is. That's resistance is. With the extra health and stuff that mobs get by earning corruption, my force move isn't working. You could see me clicking on the ground and force move wasn't working. So I'm clicking on the ground, you can see the force move icon and nothing's working. So I can't move. I can't move. So what's that debuff? I can't move. The only way I can move is with my leaping attack. See? That's my force move icon. See? Move to there. I'm not moving. And now I can move. That he's gonna kick it. Something else. I definitely don't like the concept of mobs where you push a button. Like, I push my leap towards the mob skill. Or I do that knockback skill. And when I do the skill, rather than me leaping instantly like I do normally, because the mob has an evade, it will do its teleport and then I will leap. It will even delay the effect so the mob can teleport out of the way. Not a fan of that, I have to admit. So can I actually upgrade that scepter is an interesting question. Like if I put that into the forge with a rune of ascendance, yeah, that'll ascend as well. But I'm wondering if a Rune of Ascendance means that you can never... Oh, it's still in the fort. I wonder if a Rune of Ascendance means you can never get legendary potential. That's just the best of all of them. These two are crap. So let's try this, but I'm imagining I hit the dragon and I then have to run away instantly. So that can happen. Then I have to run back in. Fuck! So, I can't be far away from the dragon and then I can't be close to the dragon. So is this fight just impossible with this? I should stop, but... I mean, it's possible I just can't do it at this level with this gear. Like, it's just possible that it's like, I'm sorry, you're not playing the meta. So this could be another game exactly like Path of Exile, which is a game not for average players. So, okay. Recommendation number one. If you are not... Now, I'm someone who's just put, what, 50, 60 hours into this in a couple of weeks. But if you are someone who plays games less than 10 hours a week, this is not a game for you. It's just not. I mean, that is perfectly communicated by the fact that they do seasons. Any game that does... not yet, but they do. Any game that does seasons, no matter what they say, because while they turn around and say all of our season stuff is also going to be available in the Eternal Realm, the problem is they're putting a lot of stuff in the game which is social. And all of the players that you will want to socialise with are going to be in season. So for example, the Trading Guild, the Merchants Guild, if you turn around and say, oh my god, the Merchants Guild looks awesome, you will have no Merchants Guild in the Eternal Realm. So if you're casual, seasons kill the game for you, and the Eternal Realm, because all of the players that you may want to interact with are going to be in seasons, cycles, whatever, are going to be in those cycles, means that Eternal Realm is going to be dead. So if you're casual, the game is dead. And if you're not hardcore enough that you can absolutely farm it up. And all the people who complain that's not true, if you look at their play stats, they will have multiple hundreds of hours in the game. It was the same when you were holding discussions like this on pretty much any game. I think, I can't remember what game I was having this discussion with on someone. Might have been, wasn't No Man's Sky, but it was something around when I was playing No Man's Sky. And I was saying this game was phenomenally not beginner friendly. And they were talking about all the way in, they was talking about in all the ways I was wrong. But when I looked at their player stats, they'd had literally thousands of hours in the game that I was talking about, which meant that they had no clue. They were not a beginner. They had no idea what it was like to be a beginner. And all of the recommendations that they were turning around and saying that you do literally required hundreds of hours of practice or gear or background or knowledge. I was like, yeah. And this game, I think, because it's been in early access for so long, is going to have the same problem. So as long as the community can turn around and say, end game is this, end game is level 100, and all of the corruption stuff is for literally the pushing, and it should be ignored by most of the player base, it might be okay. But the minute you get someone who's turning around and saying that you must push corruption and that's where the end game is, in high corruption, this game has no end game. It only has an end game for people who are putting in 20 plus hours a week. And if you're designing a game purely for people who are only playing 20 hours a week, you are designing a game for people who are going to pick it up as a job. And I've already got 2 other jobs, I don't need a third. Yeah, these experiences are really making me worry about the end game. Because it feels like the loot balance at this level, because I set my loot filters, maybe I set them wrong, but I thought I set my loot filters to basically show me any upgrade that I could get over what I was wearing. And I must have set them wrong. Like, for a while I was showing every exalted item, and I still wasn't getting upgrades over what I was wearing. Now, I'm wearing not great items, but I still wasn't getting upgrades. And if it's to get upgrades, you need to be, like, I haven't got a single upgrade in about 10 hours. If I'm running phenomenally suboptimal, like, I don't have a single item with tier 7. Most of my items aren't even close to optimized. And I can't get an upgrade in 10 hours. Doesn't that mean... Doesn't that mean that there's the amount of effort required to get upgrades at this part of the game is to upgrade all of your slots is going to take more work than it's going to take to do a job. And if you need those upgrades to put together level 100 builds, then be prepared to play 80 hours to play a level 100 build. So, for endgame, Diablo 4 is better. Because you can actually get to it. you can actually get to the Diablo 4 endgame. Interestingly enough, for one of the builds I was looking at, I think that's the item I want. But it's for Season 1. All of these have just got the wrong stats. Just don't care. And I'll try this one more time, then I'll end the session, but I'm not sure how... So he's hiding in a corner, so I can't dodge anything. And I can't pick up the potions because... Oh, I will die here. I am absolutely sure I am going to die here. I don't even know what killed me then. So I can't do stuff of the content level required to get upgrades. And I can't do more stuff until I get the upgrade. So it's just grind low level content. So it's just grind low level content. Because I've got like way over on the resistance. So I'm as resistant to all of this stuff as I can be. So it's all just a void. But that was a void something I couldn't see while I couldn't move. So I have over the cap on endurance. When I'm in bear form, which I can't be here, but I'm over the cap on crit strike avoidance. I have a high endurance threshold. I have... So I mean, these are over the cap they should be, although enemies are shredding this, so... I don't know. I don't know what to do. So it is definitely, you can't play the builds that you are finding fun. It is another game where you cannot play the builds which you're finding fun. You have to play the builds that the game is specifying that you play. So I'm enjoying this build, but I can't play it. The game will not let me play it. So I have to find another build, and then I've got to run low-level content to get the items I need, which I've run for 8 hours with a loot filter looking for those items, but it wouldn't show, it didn't give me any. So I've got to basically run for like low level items with like low tiers. So I need to try and get level 20 items of the items I need. And understand that I'm not going to have all of the stats that I want. Then I need to rebuild and then rerun low-level content to... So you play a leveling build to get to sort of mid-70s, low 80s. You then spend those 10 levels or so grinding for the gear you need for an end game build. Then when you get the gear you need for an end game build, you then re-roll to the end game build, which is something that you have to spend either, like as I said in my stream last night, there was an end game build that was put together by two people who had spent cumulatively over 6,000 hours in the game, and it took them 2 to 3 days to put together. So if you haven't got 6,000 hours in the game, that's mastery level. Like 5,000 hours is mastery. So if you haven't spent 5,000 hours in the game, to put a good end game build together, expect to spend a few days, because it took them over 2 days to put together an end game build with over 5,000 hours cumulatively between them. Then you need to find a build, not make a build, and then you need to respec. And then you need to go back to low-level content and spend about 10 hours re-leveling those skills. So you level to 75, and I don't know why people put out speed guides to get to 75, because once you get to 75, you've then got 15 hours of play to make any end-game build viable. Diablo 4 does this better, because you can get your build, and the items you get while leveling are probably going to be good for your endgame build, and then you don't need to completely destroy everything. You don't have to spend 20 hours doing something that isn't a good leveling build and isn't a good endgame build. Just play something that's going to just work, trying to get a build working. Once you get to a certain level, you can just put in your endgame build and you can go. In this, once you've decided your endgame build and you've finished leveling, then you need to put in another 15, 16 hours or something. Diablo 4 does that entry to endgame much better than this game. Everything else about this game is better. I hope I'm wrong, but I have watched dozens of guides and all of them turn around and say leveling stops at 76 and endgame starts at 100. What do you do for those 25 levels in the middle, or 24 levels in the middle? I have not seen a single guide that talks about them. Not one. Every endgame build is level 100, and every leveling guide finishes at 76. Every single one of them. So what do you do in the middle? There is no guidance. All of your leveling builds stop working, and all of your endgame builds do not work. What do you do? This game, and I hit level 76 25 hours of play ago, and I'm still only 89. So I'm halfway, maybe. So you've got, what, for me, who's never played this before, 50 hours to get to 100 when my endgame builds become viable. And then I would still need to have the loot and spend the hours to reskill. Now, it's possible, as I said, the endgame build could work now if I got the loot. But how do I get the loot? I've been farming for it. It's very specific. Because the builds, I've looked at like 3 builds and all of them said, you must have these exact totems. I have seen 0 of the totems I need. They're in my loot filter. Sorry, I've seen 1. I did drop and I did see 1. I need very specific items with very specific stats. And I have seen 1 of those drop tonight. And it actually wasn't an item I need. It was for putting a legendary affix onto an item that I can't get the legendary. I've got 1 of the legendary anyway at low level. I don't get it. I do not get it. So I can't even run the level 100 content. I don't get it. Probably skipping cycle 1. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't understand. Like, this is the point in Diablo 4 where I turned around and said, this game is terrible. This game lasted longer than Diablo 4 before it became terrible. But it's definitely hit that point. I don't know what to do. I definitely know I need to end this stream. So, bye everyone.